Welcome back to the B2B webinar series between Forward Studios and SparkLayer. This is part 4. So if you've watched every other part up to this point, if you've watched how to acquire, how to onboard, and then my last video, how to retain, you did it. You're doing great. You're in a really good spot right now. And we are excited to wrap up with part 4 of B2B customer journey, which is all about adoption. Okay, so let's just pause for a second because I know this is a little bit of a weird word, and sometimes it's kind of an insider word in B2B e-commerce. So let's just define really quickly what adoption means. Adoption means getting customers to use your e-commerce platform. So in B2B, you typically have a lot of legacy customers who are used to ordering through a sales rep. They're used to ordering through fax or through mail-in or just calling customer service. Right. And so when you have an e-commerce platform, you want them to use that platform. And I'm going to talk more about why in just a second. But when we say adopt, when we say adoption, when we say use, all of those are sort of interchangeable for the purposes of this webinar. Okay. So this is part 4, adopt. Again, super quick recap of where we have gone and not where we're going, because this is the last session here. So parts 1 and 2, we covered our conversion catalyst framework, which is where we turn dead website visitors into paying customers. In the last session, I went through our sales signal system, which is where you retain and grow your existing customer base by identifying signals and selling when customers are ready to buy. And then in part 4 today, we're going to go through our adoption anchor framework, which is where you can grow adoption of your e-commerce platform and improve profitability in the process. Okay. So again, what we're going to talk about today is how to convert legacy buyers into online platform users. How to convert legacy buyers into online platform users. Super quick recap. If you're just starting here, like if adoption is your first video, I want to say, hey, welcome. There are 3 other videos that you can go back and watch about how to acquire, onboard, and retain customers. But I'm the co-founder of Forward Studios. My name is Kyler. I was a former chief revenue officer for a B2B e-commerce distributor. And then my co-founder, Jeff, did our first and second sessions, again, around acquiring and onboarding customers. And together, we've driven nearly $100 million in email-attributed revenue for our clients. But we're not here to talk about us, okay? We're here to talk about you and the problems that you're facing. And one of those problems is that low e-commerce adoption is a silent P&L killer. Low e-commerce adoption is a silent P&L killer. Well, and here's why. 1, offline orders. And again, when we say offline, we're going to say through a sales rep, we're going to say through customer service, we're going to say through mail-in, we're going to say through fax, whatever that, however that customer is used to placing an order that is not directly through your e-commerce platform, they drive up variable costs. Okay, so it requires more time, it requires more offline resources, it drives up those variable costs per order. Offline orders are more likely to be discounted. Customer service reps and sales reps historically are more likely to discount orders as opposed to online, where the customer just gets in, places the order, and gets out. Offline orders also tie up people and resources. While that sales rep is taking that order, they're not doing sales. Like they're not doing outbound or managing accounts, right? And so offline orders tend to tie up people and resources. If you don't encourage customers to buy online, you're silently draining profitability. And I think where a lot of distributors make this mistake is they think, well, I'm serving the customer well. Like this is how this legacy buyer wants to buy from us. And so I'm just like, I really want to like devote the resources to doing that. And, I'm okay with whatever the result might be. Well, here's the truth. Sure, there's some customers who they're always going to buy like that. They're always just going to pick up the phone and call their customer service rep or their sales rep. But the reality is customers just want the easiest way to place an order. So typically the reason they're not placing an order through your e-commerce site is because it's not easy to use. You haven't kind of removed all of these barriers. You haven't removed friction for them, and you haven't incentivized them to buy through your e-commerce platform, which we're going to talk about all 3 of those in just a second. Getting customers to use your e-commerce platform, though, is an all hands on deck effort. This is another mistake that I see a lot of distributors and suppliers and wholesalers making. Marketing, sales, and operations must all work together to increase adoption. Okay. In the first 3 parts of this webinar series, We talked a lot about email. We talked about how email can help drive acquisition. We talked about how email can help onboard. We talked about how email can retain. I want to be super clear. I'm a huge fan of email, but email alone cannot drive adoption. Like, you can't just kind of like bolt on this little email system. You can't just kind of add this like adoption anchor thing that we're talking about and hope that it like increases adoption. Sure, it can help, but email alone cannot drive adoption. Instead, it's all hands on deck. And here are the kind of 3 things that we're going to talk about today that you need to really make sure are ingrained inside of your company. One is you need to create a great digital experience. Okay, you got to create a great digital experience. We're going to talk about how to do that. You have to incentivize customers and sales reps. Okay, you got to incentivize customers and sales reps, and you have to remove friction. So that's what we're going to talk about in this webinar, but this is an all hands on deck effort. Marketing can't just do this. E-com can't just do this. Your executive team can't just do this. It requires every single person in your organization to say, yep, we want to increase adoption, and we are committed to making that happen. All right, let's keep rolling. Before you do this, though, like, let's just pause and make a quick disclaimer. You need an owner. Like, you need a project owner, someone who's going to be responsible for reporting on adoption, who's the owner of platform adoption, who's going to report on KPIs, who's going to create alignment amongst the teams. If you don't have an owner, you're not going to have momentum. And so what I typically see is, like, as a CRO, that was kind of my job. If you're in a smaller company, maybe that's the CEO or the owner. If you're in a larger company, maybe it's someone on the e-commerce team. So despite the fact that you do need everyone to work together and to work cohesively, you also need a project owner. Like, you need someone who is saying, I am going to lead the charge with adoption, because if you don't have an owner, you're not going to have any momentum, and the project is going to kind of just fall by the wayside. All right, let's first talk about how to create a great digital experience. I'm going to read this line like 3 times. You can't expect customers to use a poor platform. You can't expect customers to use a poor platform. Okay, are you getting it yet? You can't expect customers to use a poor platform. You have to spend time dialing it in and focusing on creating a great digital experience for B2B buyers. A lot of times I hear distributors say, well, our adoption's really low, and I'm okay, our site's not that great, but they should be using it more. That doesn't make any sense. If your site isn't good, it's going to be confusing, it's going to be hard to use, and it's not going to be something that is easier for those legacy buyers to order from compared to a sales rep or faxing in an order, or whatever the case might be. Here are some SparkLayer features that you should be using to accomplish this. So if you are a SparkLayer customer, these are all available for you natively. If you're not, SparkLayer is a great platform to help set up your B2B experience. Okay. 5 of them that we're going to run through today. This is not an exhaustive list, but these are the 5 kind of core things that I saw as a CRO, and kind of big 5 things that will drive a large portion of adoption. 1 is your self-service My Account area. 2 is a quick checkout. 3 is customer-specific pricing rules. 4 is customer-specific payment types like net terms, credit card, RFQ, those types of things. And then 5 is B2B specific shipping. Okay. Let's run through each of these together. So let's start with the self-service My Account area. What I'm going to do for each of these is I'm going to explain what it is, and then I'm going to explain why it drives adoption. Okay. When a customer can log in and they have all of these options available to them to serve themselves, again, self-service, and they can log into their account area and they can see order history, they can see what they have in their cart, they can see lists, they can see quotes from their sales rep, they can see payment terms, they can see shipping, like all of that type of stuff available to them removes the need for them to have to call their sales rep, right? So it allows B2B buyers to manage admin tasks like order history, reordering, credit terms, etc., easily and without the help of a sales rep. Okay, so this is going to improve adoption because the customer has access to everything they need without needing to pick up the phone or without needing their sales rep to give them a call back. Second is a quick checkout. Okay, so quick checkout drives adoption because it removes friction by providing tons of flexibility at the most vulnerable point of the buying process, which is the checkout. Checkout is the most vulnerable point of the buying process. If pricing isn't correct, if they don't have their correct payment options, if they don't if it's not easy for them to know how to move forward, if they can't add shipping, if they can't do things that they're used to being able to do offline, then they're just going to bail on the order and they're going to bail at the point of checkout. So a quick checkout gives B2B buyers payment options and the ability to upload order lists and quickly build a cart. Okay, this is really, really important, especially in B2B. All right, so these next three that we're going to talk through, which is customer-specific pricing rules, customer-specific payment terms, and B2B-specific shipping, are kind of intertwined, which is really just around the idea of providing a customer-specific experience. And all of these are going to kind of have the same undertone, which is this. Customers in B2B have negotiated or have expected some level of personalization around pricing, around payment terms, and around shipping, okay? And if they are getting those things offline, if that rep knows, okay, I know that you're paying this rate for this, I know how to ship it, I know how you're going to pay for it, but they're not getting that same experience online, they're just going to leave, okay? So that's why all three of these things that we're going to talk about next are really important. So let's first start with customer-specific pricing rules. Okay, customer-specific pricing rules are massively important for B2B buyers. Okay, I'm just going to pause and reflect there for a second. Customer-specific pricing rules are massively important for B2B buyers. Again, if I've negotiated 10% off every product, or I've negotiated $20 off these items in this category, and then I log on to your website and I see the full retail price and I don't know how to get my discount that I've already negotiated with my sales rep, I'm just going to leave, or I'm just going to pick up the phone and I'm going to call my sales rep and say, hey, can you place this order? Either way, I'm not getting that customer to adopt my e-commerce platform. So like I said, they will not purchase if the price they see online is different from what they have negotiated. This is really important for business buyers, okay? Second is customer-specific payment terms. This is our fourth way to create a great digital experience. Similarly, customers having flexibility to pay how they've agreed to pay is going to create an easy checkout experience. So if I'm a customer and I have agreed to pay on account, I've agreed to pay through net terms, pay by invoice, or whatever the case might be, and I get to the point of checkout and I don't have those options, I'm just going to leave, or I'm just going to pick up the phone and I'm just going to call my sales rep. Same thing as customer-specific pricing. Pricing rules, we want to set up customer-specific payment terms as well. And then we also want to have, we also want to have B2B-specific shipping, okay? Better and more flexible rates for your wholesale and business customers will provide a good experience. Again, if they're used to shipping a certain way offline, they should be able to have that same experience online. That's really what all five of these things come down to, is trying to create a better online experience than what they can get offline, or at least something that's consistent and at the same level, which these customer-specific things will do. Okay, let's talk through some additional features that you can consider for creating a great digital experience. Beyond SparkLayer, you should consider the following features to help drive a great digital experience. Powerful on-site search. Okay, I want to talk about this for just a second. Over 50% of customer purchase or customer transactions start with an on-site search. So if a customer goes to your site, they're searching first, and if they can't find what they need, they're likely just going to go somewhere else. Think about how you shop personally. Like if you go to Amazon and you buy on Amazon, what do? You start by searching for a product. It's just like how it works. Same thing for your same thing for your B2B buyers when they come to your site. They need a powerful on-site search that has all the data pulled in that can help them find the products that they need quickly and easily. Live chat with a real person is really important, especially during business hours. Accurate PDPs and CLPs. Excuse me one sec. Accurate PDPs and CLPs, like I said, are really important. So your product pages and your category pages need to be accurate. They need to have the right data. They need to be specific to what that customer might be looking for. They need to have all the specs that product has. Any details and information that you can include on those items, you should include, because if the customer doesn't know what they're buying, if they don't know what they're looking at, they're simply just going to go somewhere else, or they're going to call their rep and say, hey, is this the same product? Or hey, I want to order that again. Is that what this thing is? Especially for B2B brands, because a lot of times products can be very, very similar and only have one variant that is off. So you want to make sure those variants and all those specs are accurate on PDPs and CLPs. You also want to have real-time inventory counts, right? So if a customer is needing to buy 500 of item X and they can only see that you have, 12 or whatever, that's going to help them make an informed decision. In either case, whether you have the quantity or you don't have the quantity, informing that buyer about how you can service them through inventory counts is a nice feature that you can consider for B2B buyers. And then lastly is bundling. So including products that are similar that customers might be buying together. Again, these are beyond what SparkLayer provides natively, but these are great features to help you create a great digital experience. All right, let's talk about incentivizing customers and sales reps. Now, this "and" is really important because I see a lot of brands making the mistake of incentivizing customers, but not incentivizing sales reps. Ultimately, both customers and sales reps need to be incentivized to use the e-com platform. Customers need to be incentivized to order and keep ordering online. Sales reps need to be incentivized to encourage their customers to order online. Okay. If you're not incentivizing sales reps, but you are incentivizing customers, your sales reps are going to just start going behind your back and they're going to just start telling their customers, come buy from me. Okay. Like, I don't know how else to say that. Like, I know it's a little bit harsh. Sales reps will start to just reach out to their customers and say, hey, look, just come buy from me. Like, that online thing. But instead, if you incentivize both sales reps and customers, then everyone's working together toward the same goal. So let's talk about what that looks like. Customers should be given benefits for ordering online. Okay, here are some examples. Better pricing, shipping terms, and exclusive offers. Okay. Better pricing, shipping terms, and exclusive offers. This is, as an example, this is saying, hey, if you order online, you can get 5% off your order, right? If you order offline, you're going to pay the same amount. If you order online, you can get free shipping or faster shipping, and you order offline, you're going to get our default shipping, right? Or they get exclusive offers, which is, hey, place this order in the next 2 weeks and you can take X% off of it, or you can get a free gift with purchase, and those items are only available online. This is a really powerful way to incentivize customers because you're helping kind of move them from offline to online by giving them a better and a more favorable online experience. 24/7 self-service B2B buying, right? So this is kind of what we just talked about, is creating a great digital experience, but those customers knowing that they can go order online and communicating that with them 24/7 is a really powerful way to incentivize them. And then having orders pre-built by their sales agents, where the sales rep can come in, have that order built, they can pass it along to the customer, and the customer just needs to go and complete the checkout. All of those things will incentivize customers to order online. Now we want to talk about incentivizing sales reps. Okay, so we want to align sales rep compensation with your overall goals, which ultimately means that online and offline sales should get the same commission. Again, one mistake that I see here is I see companies will give a full commission for offline orders, and they'll only give like a half commission or no commission for online orders. That's not going to work. Why? Because the sales rep is going to say, well, if I get that same order but I get it offline, I get paid more. You're not incentivized. You're decentivizing them from using your e-commerce platform. So the easiest way to do that is to have online and offline sales getting the same commission. Okay. I know that there's like some wonkiness of, well, the sales rep didn't even do anything or the whatever. Well, you got to have to work through that separately, but I would not recommend messing with the commission structure. They should get the same payment online or offline. You could also potentially add commission for online sales. So if you really want to encourage those customers to buy online, or encourage those sales reps to have their customers buy online, you could increase their commission. Like you could say, hey, you get a 10% bump on that commission if it is placed online. Well, that's going to really help them encourage their customers to order online. And then lastly, we want to educate our customers on how to use the platform. Our sales reps on how to use the platform. If a sales rep does not know how to use the platform, they're not going to be able to then teach their customers on how to use the platform. So we want to take time, educate the sales reps, and help them know how to use the platform. All three of these things, this is certainly not an exhaustive list. They're things that I've seen and that we've done that can help incentivize sales reps to get their customers to buy online. All right. Let's talk about the last thing, which is removing friction. Here, it's really important just to understand that you got to get close to your customer. Like, you can't understand your customer's needs if you aren't close to them. Now, these needs might change over time, and they're going to evolve like with your kind of business strategy and what you're trying to do. But your ecom platform should remove friction and be easier to use than picking up the phone and calling a sales rep. Okay, so your whole team, and especially the owner of this project, should be aggressively trying to find points of friction and then remove those points of friction, right? But here's some ways that you do this. Here's some ways that you can get close to your customer. One is use heat maps and website analytics. So understand like where are the pain points customers are having, where are they rage clicking, where are they, maybe they're not even scrolling to that part of the page and you think that they are. What pages are they visiting? What pages are they leaving quickly, right? These are all things that can help you understand user behavior on your website. Second is you should just conduct surveys, focus groups, and customer calls. Like when I was a CRO for the first year, I probably called several hundred customers. Like I probably called at least 2 or 3 customers a day and just picked up the phone and said, hey, I work here. I'm just trying to understand why you buy from us. I'm trying to understand your website experience, right? And then following the purchase, we had a post-purchase survey that was just simply, hey, were there any pain points today? Did you have anything that you'd improve upon? And we got some great responses from that. And we found features that were missing. And then lastly, you want to get rid of features that don't help your customer do their job easier or faster. Don't just have a feature just for the sake of having a feature. It should help your customer do their job easier and faster. All right. Let's talk quickly about how to remove friction with email specifically, because again, that's what we do at Forward Studios, is all about email. Email is a great way to increase adoption. So here's a few ways that you can use it. Like I said, though, this is not the only way to increase adoption, and email alone cannot increase adoption. So like or email alone can't get you kind of the adoption output that you want. It can help, it can increase adoption, but it can't be the only part of your strategy, okay? Here are kind of 5 ways we see through our adoption anchor framework. One is get previous to offline orders in front of customers. Make it really easy for them to buy online. So in the retention session, I talked a lot about replenishment flows. This is kind of what that is. It's saying, hey, a year ago, you ordered this. Here it is again, right? Like just click here and you can go ahead and check out. You're getting that offline order in front of the customer. Reward and celebrate when customers do place an online order, right? So again, sneak a free gift in their order, send follow-up emails that help them to know that you're appreciative that they placed an order online, right? Keep them up to date on what's happening with their order. All those fun things will help reward and celebrate the customer who just placed an order online. Use emails to incentivize online orders, so exclusive offers or special pricing or new product releases that are only available if the customer places an order online. You can do that through email. Educate customers of the benefits of online ordering. We talk a lot about that in our onboarding session. Jeff goes through that a little bit more in depth, but it's really important to kind of educate your customers on, hey, why should you buy online and what are the features that are available to you? Because sometimes your customer is calling their sales rep just because they don't know what's available to them, online. So email is a great tool for that. And then lastly, you can have sales reps stay in touch with their accounts at scale. So if I'm managing 500 accounts, I can email all of those accounts at once and email them at scale if I am a sales rep. Okay, so all of these are ways to remove friction and increase adoption using email. Okay, ultimately what it comes down to is that higher e-commerce adoption equals better profitability. Higher e-commerce adoption equals better profitability. Online orders improve margin by cutting offline variable costs. Better margin, better retention, and better profitability. Okay, better margin, better retention, and better profitability. You absolutely need a great sales team. You absolutely need a great customer service team. You absolutely need an operations team. You absolutely need a marketing team. But all of those folks need to be working together to improve adoption, because increased adoption is going to lead to better profitability. Okay. So again, recap of what we've gone through in these last 4 webinars. You've spent about 2 hours with us at this point. So thanks so much for hanging out. If you've watched all 4 of these, if you have not, and this is your first or maybe your second, Really encourage you to go back, start at part 1 and part 2, and go through those as well, because this framework does build on top of itself. So let's go through the forward framework, which is a predictable email machine for B2B distributors. In part 1 and 2, we went through our conversion catalyst, where you turn dead website visitors into paying customers, and then you onboard those folks. Second, we just went through our sales signal system in part 3. And then today in this session, we went through our adoption anchor framework, which is where you grow adoption of your e-commerce platform and improve profitability in the process. Okay. If you want to work with us, if you want to connect with us here at Forward Studios, we can handle everything with your email strategy, from implementation to strategy to copy to design, and kind of everything in between. We've got a really great team here that would love to partner with you. So a couple ways that you can get in touch with us. One, our website is goforwardstudios.com. That's goforwardstudios.com. You can email me directly, which is Kyler, Kyler, at goforwardstudios.com. Or Jeff and I are really active on LinkedIn. Feel free to shoot us a DM, drop a comment, and we would love to get in touch with you and love to help you win with email. So this has been our 4-part B2B webinar series between Forward Studios and SparkLayer. Thanks so much for listening along. Hopefully we have helped you learn how to acquire, onboard, retain, and adopt more customers. You can learn more at sparklayer.io/B2B-journey, sparklayer.io/B2B-journey. There's more resources and fun stuff for you there. Thanks so much.